Hey guys, what's up? Esti-Fit here. Welcome back to the kitchen. So this is week 3 of food prep. This week's gonna be a little bit different. I'm not having any fruit. There just wasn't really any fruit on sale. I'm not really craving fruit, so unless there's something that goes on sale during the week, I probably won't really have any fruit. Right now what we're gonna start with is I actually have 2 pounds of the jumbo shrimp. We're going to be boiling that, so the water's already come to a boil. What I'm going to be doing is actually adding in a tablespoon. It's actually a carne asada seasoning, but what I'm going to be doing with this week is actually mixing in salsa with my shrimp for flavor, as well as some avocado. That way I'm getting my fats as well. And so I actually find that this goes really well with my shrimp. So what I'm going to do really quick is actually just add some of this in. Pop the lid on this thing. And then I'm just gonna pour the 2 pounds of shrimp in there without burning myself, hopefully. Stir that around really quick. And shrimp is really great. It's one thing that I always like to have on hand. It gets high in protein, doesn't have a ton of calories in it. It's really like one of the only fish sources that I really even like. And also it's super quick. So it's something that I can have in the freezer, come home, defrost while I'm in the shower from the gym, and then come out and cook, and it takes like 10 minutes to cook, and wham, I have dinner. So really awesome now. So we will let that come to a boil, and it only needs to boil for about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna say about 6 minutes. I'll be checking back on that. So while that's going, I am actually going to start on protein pancakes. So if you watched one of my other videos, I've used this Raptor protein, which is delicious for my chocolate protein pancakes. This week I'm actually going to be doing like a pumpkin or spiced protein pancake. So I'll be using my all-way butterscotch maple fudge protein. This protein works really well for the protein pancakes because it's naturally like a thicker type protein. It has a lot of fluff to it. So I actually don't have to use as much oats in it, and they still get the fullness. So I'm gonna do 1.5 scoops of this protein. And to give it its spice flavor, you can do as much as you'd like. It's up to you as far as what you like for taste. So I'm just gonna sprinkle in this pumpkin pie flavoring to where I know that I would like it. And then I'm going to do ground ginger. I'm just gonna do 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then I'm also going to sprinkle in some cloves. And then I've got here some cinnamon, and I actually really like a lot of cinnamon in mine. So what I'm gonna do is actually about a teaspoon worth, so it's gonna be a few of these. All right. Oh my. Apparently you throw a little lid in there. Just kidding, take the lid out. That's not gonna go very good, and it's gonna be really hard for you to digest. And then also I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg in there. Now Obviously, any of those ingredients that you may not like, just don't include them. I believe that that is it. I'm also gonna do a little bit of baking powder, not a lot, probably about 1/4 of a tablespoon. And then I love to put some flax meal into my pancakes. I just like the consistency that it gives it. So for this, 2 tablespoons is the serving size. I put 1 tablespoon. So we'll leave that there. And then, excuse me, I have one that I'm finishing up here, and then another one. Oh, and what we'll do is actually be putting some oats in there as well. Now you can do them whole or you can do them ground. This morning I ground up a bunch of oats. So let me grab those really quick. And they're really easy to grind up. I just put them in a magic bullet and put it on for a couple seconds and they're all nice and ground up. So I'm actually going to do about 1/2 of a 4th. So 1/8 of a cup of oats. And then I'll be putting in 3/4 cups of liquid egg whites. That's 2. These are good fresh, but they're also good leftover. So I find in the morning when I'm driving to work, just out of habit, I want to always like stop and get something, or I start craving like something more carby or bread-like. So this is a great option to have with me when I go to work. So that way if I do have that craving, this can satisfy it. And then with that, we'll just whisk this all together. So like I said, with the whey, it's going to be a naturally thicker consistency than some of the other proteins that I use with protein pancakes. So usually I have to use 1/2 a cup of oats, but in this case I don't. It gets a nice thick consistency. Also with this whey though, your pancakes are going to look a little more browned, a little bit quicker than some of the other pancakes. So I'm actually gonna set this aside. I'm gonna check on the time. All right, and the shrimp is just about done, so I'm gonna turn it off and just let it sit. It smells really good. Okay. And then what we're going to do is actually start making some overnight oats. So for overnight oats, I'm going to be making 4 of them. And we'll actually be doing, it's 1/2 a cup of oats. So I have a 1/4 cup measuring cup here. It's still pretty warm here in Arizona, so it's nice to have something cold in the morning. It really like freshens it up. So it's a nice alternative to having warm oats in the morning. And I love that I can mix my protein into this as well, and I don't have to have 2 separate things. So for these, I'm actually going to do 2 of them will be the butterscotch maple fudge. And just do 1 scoop of the protein powder. And then the other 2 are actually going to be my Optimum Nutrition birthday cake flavored whey. Again, just a scoop of each. and I'm just gonna grab some cashew milk for those. We'll be right back. All right, and as you guys already know, I use the unsweetened cashew milk. If they have unsweetened vanilla, I get it. If they didn't have it, I only find that a few stores carry the unsweetened vanilla, so I had to deal with regular, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is actually same amount of milk as oats. So because I used a half a cup of oats in these, I'll be doing a half a cup of the cashew milk. I'm not too big of a fan of almond milk just because I find that it can have like a rancid kind of taste really quickly when it's used in things. So it's like sometimes it's okay and sometimes it's not. So I really prefer cashew milk. Soy is not that great for you, so I really try to avoid soy milk. They actually have studies that show that fish who were affected by soy, the male fish actually start to grow female parts because of all of the estrogen that's in soy. So again, just for the sake of hormone balance, I really try to avoid it. All right, and then really quick, I'm just gonna stir these up. Get them mixed really well. What will happen is the oats will absorb the moisture and they'll be nice and soft in the morning. And it absorbs the flavor of the protein, and it's just something that turns out being, in my opinion, really yummy because I'm not a big fan of like just plain oatmeal. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but if I can have some flavor, I'm all about that. I have not tried the overnight oats in these flavors before, so it ought to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to the birthday cake one. I think that one will be really good. Probably my favorite so far of the protein powders in the overnight oats is the pumpkin one, but the pumpkin protein that I like to get is only, it's like very rarely available, so I kind of like hold on to it like a treasure. I use it as sparingly as possible, like only when I absolutely am craving it. I'm noticing that the one with the All Max Whey, again, because it's like a thicker consistency, it's requiring a little bit more cashew milk here. You could also add water if you wanted to. You don't have to put the cashew milk. Even if you just didn't want to put milk at all, you can just go with water. It's up to you. It's just a flavor preference for myself. But especially if you're cutting your calories, if you're competing and you're getting really close to stage time and your calories are going to be much lower, then obviously every calorie counts and you may want to go with water. Almost done here. All right, and that is that. Hopefully I'll be able to tell what's what. Right. And that was that. What I'm also wanting to do, that you guys have seen before, is my Greek yogurt. do 4, I might only be able to do 3. Depends on how much yogurt I have this week. So we will start with that. I'm going to do, I do 3/4 of a cup of the plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I really like the Chobani. I've also been using the Walmart brand recently just because it's much more fire friendly. I probably save at least $1 for yogurt. I mean, that can really add up over time. So, to each their own. I just try to save money wherever possible. Eating clean can become quite pricey. And again, you'll mix this with you can have it plain if you wanted to. I prefer flavor in my yogurt, especially because Greek yogurt can be very it almost has, like one thing I use it in place of is actually sour cream. So it's kind of like a sour cream. So if you're having that, the yogurt just by itself, it's almost like eating sour cream. So unless you like really love sour cream, you could just eat sour cream by itself, which most people can. But who knows? I mean, do you show my sister when she was a baby, she used to just like eat butter straight from the container. So, I don't know. I never really thought butter was that great. And it kind of gives me heartburn. Okay. Let's put that aside. Excuse me while I wash my hands. Okay, so proteins that I'm going to be using in them is the strawberry mousse by Nectar, which is probably my favorite. And I'm going to be trying the birthday cake way in one of these this week, and hopefully it will turn out tasty good. We shall see. So again, it's just going to be 1 scoop. Using a slightly larger container when you're doing these, just because as you're stirring, the powder can, I don't want to waste any of my precious protein powder. So I'd hate for you to lose it when you're stirring it. So it's always better to just have a little bit of extra room in these containers for this. I prefer my yogurt to be like super, oh my gosh, even though I had it, it's still spilling here. I prefer mine to be like super cold. So if I am taking this to work, then I will definitely put like this one sitting right on top of the ice pack or right next to it, so it's nice and super cold. And again, this is gonna be more of like a Go-Gurt type consistency. It's not gonna be as thick as normal yogurt. This is really yummy though. I was never really a big yogurt eater growing up. It just was never my favorite. I did like the whips by Yoplait. I mean, those are really bad for you, but I liked them. And I just like the texture. It reminded me of like my grandma's cooking some sort of special pie that she made or something. All right, so now what we're gonna do is actually make some chicken salad. So this is something that I always keep these cans of chicken on hand. They didn't have the low sodium one this time, but I prefer the low sodium one. And so I keep them on hand because it's something great if I can't make it to the store, if something that I bought goes bad before I can cook it. It's just always good to have on hand. Also, one thing that's really important is a food scale. So I'll be weighing out this stuff. So what I do is I put my Tupperware on the food scale, turn it on. The measurement here is in ounces. So I make sure that it is set to pounds and ounces on the scale. I'm gonna open these up. So the first thing I'm gonna do is weigh out how much there is. And so I typically do 3.75 ounces because that comes out to half of the can here. Okay, that's a little too much. All right. What's really funny is these cans, it tells you that there's 2 ounces is a serving size and that there are 4 servings per can, which would tell you that there would be 8 ounces in here. There is not 8 ounces in here. There is, let's see, about 7 to 7.5. So I got 3.7 and then 3.5 here. So that does not equal 4 servings. Just to be saying, like, I paid to be able to have 8 ounces, but that's not true. So it's always good to just measure out everything because even though the can says that that's how much is in there, that's not really how much is in there oftentimes. And that one, I got 3 and 3.7, so there was even less in that can. So we'll try to make this as even as possible. So it looks like 3.5 ounces is going to be about how much I'll be having each serving. Okay. And then with that being said, I've already chopped up some celery. So I'm gonna put a little bit of celery in each of these. Celery, obviously optional. I just like a little bit of crunch in there. Again, up to you. I just like the additional texture in there. So I'm gonna spread that out among those. That was about 2 stalks chopped up. So it would be about a half a stalk per item there. For my mayo, I actually use the mayo with olive oil, so it's reduced fat. For 1 tablespoon, it is 50 calories and 5 grams of fat. So I usually use about a teaspoon to a half a tablespoon. It just really depends. I don't like it overly mayo, but I also don't want my chicken to be dry. So I'm gonna use about half of a tablespoon and see how that comes out. Make sure it doesn't end up too dry. Oh, and half of it ended up on the scale. Another thing that I like to do is relish. Relish is like a must in my chicken salad. And of course it loves to get mixed up. Well, that was a bunch. This is where jar relish would probably come in handy right now because these pickles are not cut up very well. I actually got quite a bit in this first one, so I'm going to spread it out between the last two. Okay, one other thing that I really enjoy in mine is not onion powder, but diced onions. And I like to put those in there. Now with the mayo, they'll actually pick up the moisture and they won't be hard and crunchy like this. But it definitely adds some flavor so it's not so boring. Also, I'm gonna do a tiny squeeze of mustard in each of them. And then I'm going to stir them up and see how it looks and see if I need to add any more mayo. Be fine with the amount of mayo that I added. The relish and mustard also give it some moisture, so it's not going to be too bad. Now you can add a little bit of mustard if you like. I usually do add that when I'm going to eat it. I would not recommend adding salt. Like there is, especially because this is not the low sodium chicken, there is plenty of salt in here. You're gonna have plenty of flavor, no need for salt. I think that if you added salt, it would be way too salty to eat. So try it first, and then if you feel like you must, then go for it. And then this week, so sometimes I won't put the celery in it and I'll just eat the chicken celery with celery sticks. Sometimes I put the celery in it and then I'll have it with cucumbers. Fortunately, the cucumbers I got already got mushy before I could cut them. So, I don't have my cucumbers right now. I have to go get some more cucumbers, which was kind of sad. But what I did get is, recently I had a protein order and they sent these multi-seed crackers. They're crunchy oven baked. So that's what I'm gonna be eating with my chicken salad this week. And there's only 60 calories for this packet. There's 2.5 grams of fat, 1 gram of protein, and it has 1 gram of dietary fiber. So it has for ingredients, brown rice flour, sesame seeds, potato starch, quinoa, safflower, flax seeds, amaranth, tamari soy. So these are actually pretty good. I didn't expect them to be as tasty as they are, but they're gonna go really good with my chicken salad. I don't want them to get smushed in my lunch bag, so I'll just be putting them in the other portion. Oh, excuse me, other portion there. So that will also be some of my lunches. I hope you guys really enjoy my chicken salad. I have taken it to work before. A lot of people really love it. So it is a good, quick option and inexpensive as well. So what I'm going to do now, move this stuff out of the way. And I have my shrimp. And then also what I'm going to do is get my broccoli and green beans. So I couldn't find anything really on a good deal that was fresh. I'm actually allergic to raw broccoli, so I don't like to get fresh broccoli because if it's not cooked enough, then I can have an allergic reaction. So I really prefer to get the frozen one in the steamer bags. I feel like the ones in the steamer bags like hold themselves together much better as well. So I really like that. So what I'm gonna do is put this on here. As far as the serving size go, toward part, it's 30 calories for 1 1/3 cups. And there's about 3 per container. That 1 1/3 cups is 83 grams. So I'm actually going to change my scale, the unit to grams, and I actually like to do about 150 grams. So it's about half the bag. Perfect. So each one of them came to about 150 grams. And then I'll put a little bit of salt on both of them and pepper. And these are going to be the size to my shrimp. Next thing that we're going to do is green beans. And I'll probably stop at like the ranch market or farmer's market sometime this week on the way home to get some more vegetables. So I'm just using this in the time being. I also have a roast that I'll be cooking sometime this week. So I'll be cooking later on in the week as well. And I really like French style green beans. They're probably one of my favorites. All right. All in place here. So again, I'm going to do about 150 grams. Nothing coming out on the spoon. Okay, there we go. And get a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm gonna have to get another cup here for the last one. I don't thought it's going to fit, so I'll have to finish that up momentarily. All right, and then for the shrimp, I will be doing 4 ounces of that. Change this unit back to ounces and reset. Food scales are so fun. Right, so I've got 4 ounces. Just depending on how it turns out, I may go up in the ounces. I might make it 5. Just depending on how it all evens out between the servings. So it looks like they're gonna turn out to be about 6 ounces each. Yep, so 6 ounces of shrimp is what that turned out to, and I have 3 servings of that. From that, I like to keep all of my servings about the same, so that way it's easy for me to track during the week when I'm doing, I track with my Fitness Pal. So if I'm eating the same meals for lunch each day, then I can just copy and paste it to the next day. So it just makes the eating more simple as well. And then I don't have to, when I'm reaching in the fridge, like have to know, I don't have to label each one what it is or try to remember what's in what container. So I have done that before. If I can't get even portions, then I'll just put a sticky note on top with how many ounces are in it, just so I can track my macros properly. Alright, so that is about it, and now we're going to actually cook up the pancakes. So I'm going to do that really quick, and then I'll be back with the finished product of what those look like. Okay? Whew, food prep, finally done. So this is the final product of the protein pancakes. These actually turn out really good to eat leftover. I was a little hesitant to try any pancakes leftover. I just didn't think they would hold up very well. I was concerned that they wouldn't taste as good or that they'd get really dried out, but that wasn't the case. So actually a really good option to make ahead of time. I don't know if you'd be able to see it, but the consistency is very much like a pancake. Not thin, it's pretty good. They're not hard. They're just pretty good. So definitely give those a try. Thank you guys so much for doing food prep with me this week. If you also prepped your food, then go ahead and hit the like button. Or if you just liked the video, hit the like button. And then don't forget to share this video with anyone else looking for food prep ideas. And until next time, stay healthy.